Benny, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone! I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
No one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Lord, you can imagine where it goes from here.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Zedos Game Podcast. I'm Joseph Buchanan. Across from me is Sacha, Allari.
Hey.
Okay, welcome back, guys. What have you been up to? Stuff.
Working. Saw War Dogs. Great film. Really great film. Todd Phillips. He's maturing as a director. I really enjoyed the film. It wasn't what we all feared, like another Hangover. It treats the subject matter quite well, I felt, and yeah, it's a really good film. I'd totally recommend that to check out this weekend.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet. In fact, there's a lot of films I haven't seen yet, but that's one I wanted to catch up with and check if it was any good. If you've given it a good review, so yeah, I'm down for that. What else have you been up to? I understand Stranger Things is the thing to watch.
Stranger Things is the thing to watch. I've been going on about this for the past 3-4 weeks now. If you haven't checked out Stranger Things on Netflix, check it out. It's an awesome show. If you like stuff like The Goonies and Super 8 and E.T., it's definitely got major hints of old Spielberg kind of look and feel. It's really good. Check it out on Netflix.
Start off with the trailers that dropped this week, and we'll be looking at Kidnap, Batman, The Return of the Crusader, Blair Witch, Rings, and My Blind Brother. And so we'll start off with Kidnapped. And with Kidnapped, this is a film that stars Halle Berry, and it's about. It looks like she's a single parent.
This summer, Halle Berry's child gets kidnapped and she loses her mind.
It's got a very 80s vibe to it. When I say 80s vibe to it, it's very linear structured. So it's from the get-go, you're kind of banked in. You know where this is going. And she goes to the park with her little kid. She's playing games with him. They're playing this hide-and-seek game, and then he disappears. And It's a action-packed action thriller with Halle Berry after her kid. The difference about this, she sees her kid being kidnapped and she knows what car this kid was taken into, and so she's just
chasing after the car.
She's just chasing after the car, and it actually looks. Normally, I wouldn't say this, but. This film actually looks pretty good.
It looks intriguing. I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, and again, I wouldn't say this, but Sacha had a very interesting insight before the show started. He was talking about
that should be the Storm movie, man. I mean, a kid from the School of the Gifted gets kidnapped, and Storm has to sort it out, man. Rescue the kid.
Yeah.
Throw in a sequence where she has to overcome a fear of claustrophobia in there, and then we're done. Just have it be a revenge movie or a if damn you kidnapped the child movie, and that's your Storm movie right there. Make that happen, Fox. I'll watch that.
She said something right at the end of this trailer, and it's
give me back my child.
No, it's not that. It's you've messed with the wrong mother or something.
Yeah, that was.
And you kidnapped the wrong kid.
Yeah, you kidnapped the wrong kid.
That to us, that was gold. And if 20th Century Fox are listening, or Bryan Singer's listening, you need to make. If you're gonna do a Storm film, that's your storyline. That's your storyline. That's got. I would watch that. I don't know if anyone listening would, but that's, to me, that's brilliant. I'll go for that.
But yeah, I mean, like it just looks good, like a fun, like action kind of thriller. Yeah, she's looking good in that. Yeah, dude, looks quite good.
Yeah, and
can't wait to check it out. And it's been directed by, what's his name? Forgotten his name. Wait a sec. Give me 2 seconds. What is his name?
Give me.
Louis Petro. He did the movie Pusher. And yeah, if you haven't seen Pusher, there's like 3 of them. But yeah, he did the movie Pusher. It's a good movie. Check it out. Yeah, I think he's back on this action vibe with this thriller. And yeah. Check it out.
Yeah, it looks really good. So yeah, that's a recommendation from us.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next film, which is. Let me bring this up. Okay, Batman: Return of the Cape Crusader. Okay, so with this, I was a little bit dubious on this. I like the animation style. It's an animated film. It brings back Brotherhood and
Adam West and Julie
Catwoman.
Yeah, Catwoman.
I can't remember her name, but yeah, it brings them back as voice actors, and the animation style actually is really good. But my reservation of this for this is that the way this was funny in the 60s, in my 80s child mind, is very different to the way I think it will be funny now. If they've done it right, I think they should go the more of the Archer route with this, which I think it might have, but I could be wrong. Sach, what do you think?
I think this is brilliant. Yeah, this is some nostalgia shit. I think people over the age of 30 are its key audience. Screw this. I want to see a whole season of this.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's an actual film. I don't know. I don't think the quality of animation would look like this if it was
a series.
Yeah,
you reckon?
No, not at all. It costs so much to do a weekly animated show, which is why Archer reused their assets, because it's all done in After Effects, and so this looks like it was animated by hand. So.
I don't know, man. I'd like to see more of this, or something. I don't know whether it be the same animation style or something akin to what Archer has done. But I just like the fact that we're getting this Batman back in an animated kind of form.
Yeah.
I think it suits it. I think they know exactly who their audience is. They're not looking to break bank on this. They're just looking to, break even with maybe a little bit of profit on the side. Whoever's idea this was over at the WB, kudos to them for trying to make it. I think this is one thing I do like about the DC films in terms of the animated stuff. They actually do the better animated stuff, they, in terms of their characters and stuff. I like their one-off DVDs and stuff because you get a full movie with a particular take of that character, and they've done great for the graphic. They've done wonders for their graphic novels and stuff. So having this take of Batman, kind of fits. And I'd like to see more of this. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing what comes out of this, and I'm sure it'll be fine. I just hope it's as funny as I think it should be. And so yeah. Okay. On to the next trailer, which is. The Blair Witch, or just Blair Witch, and so with this, I really do like the look of this, because it feels like Blair Witch, even though they've the trailer feels like a very traditional trailer, but from what I've learnt about this film, they've treated it very much like they made the first film. And if that is the case, then I think it will be as scary as the first film. to me, I thought it all ended with Blair Witch Book of Shadows, but even though that film was bad, it had some scary elements in it. But this film looks looks legit. It looks they clearly saved a lot of the scariest moments for the actual film instead of putting it in the trailer, and so that's why I can't wait to see it. And I love films that genuinely scare you and make you think about the film even after you've left the cinema. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Sach.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. It looks like they've gone back to the original way, you know, like how the first one does. So it's kind of like a semi kind of reboot in a way. It's directed by Adam Wingard that did The Guest, You're Next, and both VHS films. It's done by his writer as well. So they've obviously loved the original movie, and they've obviously come at a new way or angle in how to tell the story again, yet show us something different maybe. It looks intriguing. This is the same director whose next film is Death Note, the Death Note remake. So I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of eyes on this, considering that people didn't even know that, because this project was called In the Woods before. So it was a different, you know, this has just come out of nowhere. So, you know,
but that's akin to what the original Blair Witch was. It's got that feeling. Oh, it's Blair Witch.
Like, I'm not really into horror movies that much, mainly because I think they're all trying to be too serious. But like, Blair Witch was original for its day. It was very unique, had a great concept. You know what I mean? And to be quite honest, I really want to like check this out just to see what happened next. You know, I like the premise. They say that the girl from the original is one of the main character's sisters, and he's on the quest to find his sister, or find out what happened to her. And that's the pull, because you want to know what happened to those kids.
Exactly.
I forget what Book of Shadows was. You know what I mean? It was a terrible film, but I can't remember what happened in it and stuff.
It's better that you don't.
Yeah, but this looks like a true sequel. It even has the same aesthetic. It's set in the current day. It references the original quite strongly with the sibling aspect to it. You know, you get a glimpse of like where the movie's finale would be. If you'd seen the original, you would get what I'm on about, because I don't want to spoil it in case it retreads that, and you know what I mean. But I just want to see what happens next and whether someone survives this time, you know.
Yeah, that's actually, no one actually survived.
No one survived the Blair Witch Project, man.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler. Sorry, guys. I do apologise. But, you know, like, I just want to see what happens next. Do we meet the Blair Witch or whatever, you know what I mean? Because, like, that'd be intriguing.
Yeah.
That would be, that if you do, that should be some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Like, some bare fucked up shit. Kind of like meeting the alien queen and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want that kind of moment. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly, yeah. I totally agree with you. Yeah, so that was Blair Witch. Okay, so on to the next trailer, which is Rings. Which is the sequel to The Ring 2. And again, with films like this, especially one adapted from Japanese horror, this attempts to retell the Ring story without redoing what the events of the first film. As someone, I'm reading the novels at the moment, and this has some similarities to the third book, which is Spiral. And sorry, is it Spiral? I've got it on my shelf, but I can't see it. But yeah, it's got similarities to the book that I'm reading at the moment. And even though it's not the same, and I don't think they'll be able to execute it like that way, I think I'm crossing my fingers. If this film is done right, it will be half decent. But I really don't think you can beat the first film, Japanese or American. I do like the Gore Verbinski original, and I do like the Hida Nakata Japanese original. And yeah, I'm cautious. I'm intrigued to see where this goes. And Vincent D'Onofrio's in this, which is weird. But Sach.
Yeah. yeah. I'm not gonna lie. The Ring, the Japanese original, shit me up, man. Like brown pants wearing time. It's a scary ass, freaky ass movie. I'm sure this will be pretty good for you horror fans. I won't be watching this because I'm a shit scaredy cat. But no, I'm assuming it'll be alright for its key audience. I didn't think the Igor Sabinski one was that good, to be honest. Like, I felt the ending was a CGI fest when it didn't need to be, considering the original was quite physical. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, when she did that teleportation stuff, that was a bit... That was a bit too hokey for me.
I think he wanted to put his own spin on that.
Yeah,
and he didn't need to. No. I sort of understand why he did it, but I know where you're going with that. But in terms of the core story, it's more or less the same as the Japanese one, and it feels that way as well. Yeah. But yeah, you're right about the ending. But yeah, carry on, Seth. Sorry.
But yeah, no. I'm sure it'll be good for the... I mean, what was number 2 like? Because I never saw number 2.
So, number 1 did so well. They got the Hida Nakata, who did the original Japanese Ring, to do the sequel to the American one. And that was nothing like the second film that he did. Yeah. The Japanese second film that he did. It was... They took it somewhere else. And it was bad. It was a very bad film.
So this is like a completely... like different film though, like compared to
it's taken some aspects from the book, and it's.
But wasn't the second film directed by the original Japanese director?
I just said that. Just said that.
Sorry, dude.
The second one was done by the Japanese director of the first film, and yeah, he didn't. Unfortunately, he didn't write it. Yeah, he just. This is your script. The studio said, this is a script, film it. And the reason they did it is because he did the Japanese one. And so they thought that would translate into...
a great movie. Yeah. Surely they should have let him get his own writing team involved. Yeah. But then, it's his first Western film, so easily to manipulate from the studio's angle, Yeah. But now this one's being done by F. Javier Gutiza, I can't pronounce his surname. He's a Spanish director. This is his second movie. His previous one was Before the Fall. But yeah, this is his breakout kind of big.
Well, he hopes.
Yeah, big Western film. Well, like you said, he hopes.
If Guillermo del Toro was directing this, I would say, yep.
If Guillermo del Toro was directing this, I think a lot more people would come, be like more enthusiastic to watch this. Mm-hmm. I think general consensus is literally like The Rings. They were great films. The Japanese ones, they're rebooting the American ones again. What the hell? I think that would be the general consensus. But this trailer looked interesting. It's been a long break since we've had Rings and Things going on. There we go. There's another name for another sequel, Rings and Things. There we go. Oh no, man. Yeah, I'm sure. Cool. It'll be cool for the right demographic.
Okay, so on to the next film, and this is a comedy, My Blind Brother. Right, and so this we only watched this just a few minutes ago. This is an interesting film. Well, I think it's going to be interesting comedy anyway. So it looks like you've got. It starts off with this guy meets a girl, and the girl doesn't reciprocate her feelings, and so they go off in their own direction. So the main character of this film is this guy with a blind brother. I can't remember this actor's name, but he's doing all these marathons and stuff, and his brother's helping him out doing it, and by chance, he starts to do this marathon swimming or thickest triathlon thing that he's doing, and he meets the girl that kind of rejected him because she's a trainer for the blind or something, and I'm going to explain this really badly, but what happens is that the blind brother falls in love with this girl, but the other guy's still in love with her, and she's still in love with his brother, and so you've got this really weird triangle going on, and all I can tell you, if you watch the trailer, because I don't want to explain the whole trailer to you, I don't want to transcript it for you, but there are parts of this trailer that are absolutely hilarious, especially the bit, there's a bit near the end, which, again, I'll put in the description if you want to watch the trailer, but yeah, it's genius. But, Sach?
This trailer's morally wrong, man. I mean, like, some people in this movie are going to hell. It's hilarious. Just for that one scene, man. That was hilarious, man. I really enjoyed this trailer. This film's come out of nowhere. I didn't expect what this kind of film was. It's a rom-com, but it's my kind of rom-com. It's a dark rom-com, and it looks hilarious. This is, funnily enough, a remake of the short My Blind Brother. It's Sophie Goodhart's first feature. She did the short film as well. So, she's writing and directing this. This is her debut. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good movie, because you know what, it's an original idea for a rom-com, most definitely, and you know what, I think that's why it's going to be wicked. I just hope it does well at the box office, because I think the rom-coms have kind of like, they're there, but they're not as prominent in the box office as they used to be.
Ever since There's Something About Mary, that evolved.
Yeah, the
whole thing, and then everyone tried to do that.
And
they haven't been able to do it that way since.
Yeah, not even Something About Mary, but the rom-com's been around for like decades. But I mean,
sure, but I mean, I'm saying it changed it.
Oh yeah,
because it turned it into something darker.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think there hasn't been one in a while that hasn't been cliched, if that makes sense. This has got an original kind of like idea for one, and yeah, I quite want to see this.
So that's it. I'll put that in the description. I think you guys really do need to watch that. It's a really good trailer. News topics, and what do we have today? Okay, so we've got James and the Giant Peach. Okay, looks like Disney want to make more live action films of their animated classics, and James and the Giant Peach is the next one up, and I believe Sam Mendes has been picked to do this, and if you don't know anything about Sam Mendes, he's recently just come off the Bond films, and despite what you may or may not think of the last Bond film, he's still a really, really good director in the sense that he's got an eye for he's got a good eye for filmmaking, and I'm not sure if Disney are going with all of these live action adaptations of their films, but if they keep picking good directors for their adaptations, then I can't see there being a big problem with it. I mean, they're doing Splash Disney as well. No, it's not.
Yeah, that is Disney.
Is it Disney?
Yeah, because it's Touchstone Pictures.
Okay, right.
So it is Disney.
And so yeah, I mean, I guess that's already live action, and that's the closest thing you've got to The Little Mermaid. But they're doing a live adaptation of that as well.
So Sam Mendes is doing this?
Yes.
Right, okay. Yeah, well, I like Spectre. I like Skyfall. They're both fantastic Bond movies. I don't care what anyone says. I think the Daniel Craig Bonds didn't interest me until Skyfall, and Spectre felt like a Bond movie to me. Actually, they both did. Like, more traditional Bond movie than, you know, what they tried in the beginning kind of thing. And I take my hats off to him because he gave us two really great entries into the series right there. I think Spectre gets a lot sick for being too similar to Mission Impossible 5 Ghost Protocol, which came out 6 months beforehand, because it's kind of a similar plot kind of thing. But that aside, it's still a fantastic Bond movie, in my opinion. I've seen far worse. You've got, like, you know, 60 years of Bond movies to nitpick.
Yeah, it goes up and down.
So it goes up and down, and I just think the last two were great. In 10 years' time, we would have forgotten about why we disliked it about Ghost Protocol, and you know what I mean? It'd just be another Bond movie, and a very good one at that. But that aside, back on track to what we're supposed to be talking about, him directing James and the Giant Peach, interesting. Not an IP that I would have thought that he would have been chasing, or like, well, at this point he doesn't need to do it, so they must, you know, there must be an interest there for him to do this, you know what I mean? Because that James Bond money he made a lot of, you know, so you know, I buy this because he
made one of the first Bonds that passed $1 billion.
Yeah, so I buy this because Sam Mendes is the kind of director where he wouldn't commit unless, you know what I mean, he wanted to, unless he saw something that he wanted to particularly tell in this. So I buy this. I personally think Disney's live actions, they've been hit and miss. But they've been hits at the box office, bar Alice Through the Looking Glass. But I think that's mainly backlash from the original Alice in Wonderland not being a very good movie. Yeah. You know, even though that made like over $1 billion, you know, it just wasn't a good movie. I mean, Johnny Depp was fine. People were fine in it. I just didn't get the whole Lord of the Rings and defeat the dragon thing at the end. I did not think Alice was a dragon slayer. Yeah. Aside from that, The Jungle Book was the best movie so far, movie of the summer for me. You know, out of all the summer blockbusters, that was amazing. You know what I mean? It was so good. It was so good, and I'd say that was down to John Favreau being the brains behind that. You know, because he chased that to get that, you know what I mean, and he delivered. Baloo the Bear being Bill Murray, that was fantastic. It had fantastic casting, it had fantastic everything. It was such a good movie. You know, so Disney are onto something, because Pete's Dragon's done okay, maybe not as well as they'd hoped for, but then they didn't really push it, you know what I mean, because it's probably one of their less animations that didn't do so well. But I think Disney should have, you know, pushed it a bit more harder, because I think people would have went to see it. It was quite a good movie. It had a good screenplay, had a good premise, had a lot of heart in it. But it was, you know, it was okay. But you know, this isn't something that's going to stop. They're going to keep making these things. They got Little Mermaid slated on. It'll be interesting if they do an Aladdin one, because how do you top Robin Williams? But I'll tell you how, because the play that's going on at the moment is killing it, by what I hear, and you know, no genie that they get for that stage play is going to be Robin Williams. It's going to be a different take. So hopefully by the time they get to Aladdin, people would have like seen another way in how that role would have been played. But it's going to be interesting here on in what they do with these things. But I think it all comes down to one, who they get, and how it's being handled. You know what I mean? Because Alice wasn't handled correctly, I don't think. And I don't think that on the fault of Tim Burton. I just think that down to the writing team. You know? Sure. But yeah. That's just my 2 cents on that.
Oh, well, I mean, given that Steven Spielberg did the BFG, which was a Roald Dahl adaptation as well.
Yeah.
And Jason the Giant Peach is a Roald Dahl book as well. People didn't seem to resonate with
the BFG.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that depends. In this country, people did.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? In America, you know, that's not really one of their books.
No, I wouldn't say that. Before there was J.K. Rowling, it was Roald Dahl.
But the BFG out there isn't that well known out of his books. Right. You got to understand that. Like, what's you know, they're all thinking, like Tintin. What the hell is Tintin? It's not that big out there. So when they see the BFG, they're like, what the hell's the BFG? What's this big giant? Okay, do you know what I mean? It had no fault on Spielberg, whereas over here, everyone knows what the BFG was. It did quite well in the UK. You know, I mean, we were sold out quite a lot of time. It was, you know.
Well, I guess my question is that because, I mean, they clearly still have faith in Voldor's properties. It's just that the fact that you say that. I mean, James and the Giant Peach, the first time around, it was stop motion, wasn't it?
It was stop motion. It was Tim Burton doing it. It was stop motion. That was a beloved. That's a beloved kind. Well, it's not really.
It's depending on how old you are, I guess it falls between. It was really great and no one else really knows what it. Doesn't know what it is. They're aware of it, but they're just not interested in it.
Yeah.
And that's my. Not that I'm worried about any of these films making enough money. I think it will, but I don't think they get what they deserve, because I remember reading these books when I was younger, and I remember if there's any author when I was growing up, it was Roald Dahl that really put imagination into his stories. Yeah, because they were dark as well.
Oh yeah,
and it's again like Transformers the movie. Killed off spoilers. Kill off Optimus Prime in the first 10 minutes. That's you just don't do things like that. And Roald Dahl would do something like that. Yeah. It's. I think it's in the good hands of Sam Mendes. I think he's a very me saying this, I'm a nobody, but he's a freaking capable director, and I'd like to see his adaptation of this. And Disney made the right choice choosing him. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Well, on to the next story. New Mutants. So, this is part of the X-Men universe. Am I right in saying that?
New Mutants, yes, it is.
And I guess they want to bring the article that I read. They want to bring the. I'll be ambiguous saying it's the Shi'ar Empire that they're going to bring into it, but they said they wanted to alien focus this, right? In a sense, bringing in that whole element, like Guardians of the Galaxy have done, with the MCU, and I think it's a good move if done well. But if it depends what type of element they're talking about. When they say alien element, is it going to be set in space? Is it going to be set on Earth with going out into space, or vice versa? And is it going to be interdimensional? Because that's a kind of a hard pill to swallow for most audiences. So, in your mind, because you're the expert in this field, what would you say they're going to go for?
What you think? This?
Yeah.
To be quite honest, I never read the New Mutants. I never read them. I read X-Men, but I never really, I knew it was the other mutant comic out there along with X-Force and stuff, but I never really followed it, if I was to be honest with you. I was just looking it up now. Something I'm aware about. I know Chris Claremont created it. He did his X-Men one with Days of Future Past and whatnot, and he created the book kind of thing with these new characters and stuff. Them doing the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, well, there's no reason why they can't do that, because it's all in the same universe, etc. Comic book fans, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Cable part of the New Mutants? I'm not entirely 100% sure, because I always thought he was with X-Force. But yeah, I mean, they've been talking about making a New Mutants movie for a while. I guess this is how. I guess if they did the Shi'ar Empire, this is how they differentiate between.
Differentiate, yeah.
There we go. That word. Between the X films and stuff by making it intergalactic. But it's just a bit weird. It's just a bit of a weird one at Fox, because X-Men's their power franchise. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we're in a flux now with the X-Men, on what the future of the X-Men is after Apocalypse. I mean, Apocalypse didn't really perform as well as they'd expected it to. Also, Singer's producing the next one, but he's not committed to directing the next one just yet. Because he's doing 10,000 Leagues, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
I think it's 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. I mean, like, who's directing New Mutants?
Let's see. I don't think there's a director attached to it yet.
Well, at this point, it's quite premature if there's no director. Do you know what I mean? There's not really any news other than, well, does it have writers?
Oh, yeah, it does have a director.
Okay.
Josh Boone. The writers are Josh Boone, Chris Claremont.
Well, Chris Claremont's going to get credited because he wrote the original material. That doesn't mean he has something to do with it. So is it Chris Broom, yeah?
Josh Boone.
Josh Boone.
So Josh Boone directed. Okay. Well, all we had sucks.
So he's the director of Fault in the Stars, yeah?
I'm guessing you're on IMDb, so
yeah.
If that's the case, then I guess it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never heard of Josh Boone, so.
Okay, so he did Fault in the Stars and Stuck in Love. Okay, so he could do the dramatic stuff, no problem. You must be a fan if he's writing it as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So far they got Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones cast in there as someone. Who is she playing?
Well, let's not take this for gospel.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way things are at the moment with New Mutants, and so whatever the story is or what it's going to be, it's. I mean, on IMDb, it's got the X-Men name up first, so it's definitely part of the franchise. So it's X-Men New Mutants, and so
so it is an official spin-off then.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, like, all news is premature. If they go with the Shi'ar Empire, I'd have preferred to see that be the next thing after Apocalypse, the Shi'ar. You know what I mean? That way you could have just like Charles go, Lalandra! Ah! I don't know, man. That bit in the show always used to crack me up. Like, you know what? That would be awesome if they took X-Men to space rather than New Mutants to space. Let New Mutants be its own thing with a cameo from James McAvoy or Charles Xavier or Patrick Stewart, whichever timeline they want to go with, wherever they're going to link it. But I think them doing a Shi'ar Empire like X-Men would excite me. You know what I mean? So X-Men could go intergalactic.
Yeah. Because
they've done time travel, they've done ancient spirits of evil, Mom-Ra the ever living and all of that shit with the last one. And and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, may as well take it to space, bring Gladiator up in there. You know what I mean? Have the Starjammers come in there.
And he doesn't mean
I'm sure our viewers get the jokes of Apocalypse and Mom-Ra and the fact he was the first mutants. If you didn't,
no, I'm talking about Gladiator.
The
character Gladiator. I'm not. Gladiator is a character in in the Shi'ar Empire. He's part of the Shi'ar Empire, is he?
Yeah, he is. He's part of the Royal Guard.
Yeah, and it's not. What's the actor's name? Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Yeah, no. He's a character in X-Men. He has a good hairdo, big cape. He flies. He's strong. He's basically their version of Superman, really.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Essentially, like, he's like pretty fucking strong. But yeah, man.
Well, I'm going to slide that straight into the next topic because it's Legion.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're
back to more time travel, eh?
Yeah, so this is Legion. I know this isn't film to a degree, but
it's X-Universe stuff.
Yeah, and so okay, so there's a TV series called Legion, which Bryan Singer is producing, So yeah, he's producing, and it's part of the X-Men universe, and will connect the film universe and the TV universe together in some way. But whatever that way is, I don't know. Sach.
Could be Gambit. Gambit could be next.
Gambit.
He could just show up in Legion, and like, you know, he could go back in time and hook up with Gambit, and then people be like, it's that stick dude, that's Tatum, and then sharpen New Mutants, and then sharpen X-Men, and yeah, there we go. But no, serious note, yeah. What's his name? Legion, Professor Xavier's son from the future that he has with Moira McTavish, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I like the trailer. I think it looks really interesting. What interests me more is that it's a Marvel series and a Fox series, and singers attached.
So
that makes me think, come on, man, please say there's a deal.
Who knows? But that's TV, and so
yeah.
Maybe depending on how well that does, and if they can thread something into that,
yeah,
maybe. But because it's dealing with time travel,
yeah.
I'm guessing alternate dimensions as well.
Alternate dimensions, then they could like link everything.
Oh, there you go. And so if that's their key into the MCU, then
I just say let little Quicksilver take a trip to the future and just put him in there with Cap and that lot, and bam.
you've got your real
Quicksilver. Because I really liked what Evan Peters did with Quicksilver in Days of Future Past and X-Men Apocalypse. You know, I thought he was the better Quicksilver. Who would have thought? I mean, like, who'd have thunk it?
Do you remember when they first unveiled what he looked like?
Yeah, everyone went nuts.
Yeah, then he turned out to be the better Quicksilver. In my some people still actually like the other Quicksilver, but in my eyes, he's more. This one was the X-Men one was more charismatic, and the perception of speed was conveyed better on screen.
Yeah, exactly. They used his powers better and more. You know what I mean? Like I know Avengers had like 200 million, and they made him look like the Flash TV series. In fact, I've seen the Flash TV series do better than what they did in Avengers: Age of Ultron. And that's something. Fair enough, the CG model of Barry Allen looks fake as fuck, but you allow it because it's the TV medium, you know what I mean? Saying that, the CGI in that show sometimes is fucking wicked, because the gorilla and the shark man, whoa. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. But yeah, no. What was I going to say? No, back to Legion. No, should be good. I like the trailer. It looks very interesting. I want to see how this connects. Like I said, I want to see whether this connects dots with the MCU or not, because I think this, if anything, I think this is our way in. You know what I mean? To doing so, if that is something they are doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it's very strange to me that Marvel would co-do, because if you know, Marvel have put their brand on there. It's Marvel, right, themselves. So does that mean now Marvel have the rights to use the term mutants now?
If that is the case, then it opens everything up.
Yeah, because then, like, what did they call them in
Inhumans?
No, not just Inhumans, but what did they call them in Winter Soldier at the end, in that end credit where it had them both locked in cage? They called them something else. I can't remember.
Not specials. The enhanced.
The what?
Enhanced.
No, they didn't call them enhanced. They called them something else. Either way, like, I'll look it up later. But what was I going to say? Also, like, do we have Adamantium back? You know what I mean? Rather than in Brain.
It's all speculation.
It's all speculation. I know, but you know, it's like. Just these little things, you know, just making me think, what's going on there? I'm really hoping they sort it out before Infinity War.
I really can't see that happening.
Well, Infinity War is what, 2019?
No, it's 2018.
Is that 18?
Let's have a look.
I'm pretty sure it's 2019 is when the movie will come out.
We have the power of the internet.
Yeah, let's have a look. Dude, it is 2019, and then 2020 is part 2, or whatever it's called, because they're no longer called Infinity.
2018.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow, they must have pushed it up a year.
Well, now they're not doing Inhumans anymore. I'm guessing that that pushed it out. But yeah, it's 2018. So yeah, I can't see them. Maybe we're on the outside.
Yeah, that's
all we
right.
can do is speculate. Maybe that deal went on when they saw the first when Bryan Singer did Days of Future Past. You know, you have no idea, or maybe nothing's been said.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll find out over the course of time. Yeah. And it's fun to speculate, but that's what it is at the moment, speculation. Gambit?
Gambit.
Okay, so next story is Gambit. And yeah, so it looks like staying with the comic book universe, it looks like that Doug Liman that was picked to direct this film is now left this film. And I don't know what's going to happen with this film, but I don't think anyone really wants to see it. But that's more development hell that this film's in, and so hopefully it'll be struck off the map, because at first point it almost cost like nearly 200 million. And
It still costs 200 million.
But this is what I mean.
Yeah.
Deadpool cost a fraction of that, and it made nearly it made 8 times as much as the budget, including advertising. And I don't even think the advertising, because they were so creative with the advertising, it was everywhere, but it was creative. It was just so different. And if there's something I've learnt from that, is that you could create any character as long as you engage with the audience in the right way. They'll go watch it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think everything was right for that film. So with Gambit, there was already a bad stink around that when it was just when it had Tandem Tate. If they said they were bringing back Taylor Kitsch, I'll be more inclined to watch it, even though I didn't watch the Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine. Taylor Kitsch seemed like he was the right part for that for Gambit, and I think as far as I'm concerned, they should just keep him and just do a better film.
I say, I told you, bitches, I told you. I don't believe this is ever going to get off the ground. I said this before, you know what I mean, that there'd be a director change. You know what? Hire me. I'll make the Gambit film. Just do it. They should just do it. They should. I agree with you with Tyler Kitsch. They should just shove Tatum in the corner, get Titch back, make it lower budget.
Kitsch.
Him too. They should film it in New Orleans. No, film it in Vegas. Basically, this is my pitch. If you ever read like the Gambit standalone comics, he's the thief. You know what I mean? I think I said this before.
Oceans kind of.
Make it Ocean's 11, but with mutants. You know what I mean? Have him get a heist job. Make it a heist movie. He's hired to get, he's hired for a heist. You know what I mean? And you get flashbacks about his past and stuff, of his life as a thief in New Orleans and stuff, with the gangs and stuff. Have stuff with his ex-wife, Belladonna, and stuff, and how, like, the House of Thieves, or what, I've forgotten what they're called, are, like, after him and stuff, because there's like a whole thing where her brother doesn't like him and stuff, and that's his backstory. Have that as his backstory, and you get a glimpse of that, but we don't fully explore that. What we do, we fully explore like a job that he's hired to do. Maybe even have the job be done by Nathan Essex, aka Mr. Sinister. You know what I mean? Sinister hires him for a job, and that could lead into how he gets into the X-Men.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's how I would do it. You know what I mean? Or
Fox, if you're listening,
that could be a franchise. That could be a franchise right there. You could do that, like have how he meets Sinister, how he hires him. He's basically Ethan Hunt, so he goes and he speaks to different mutants he knows with different abilities and stuff. And the crossover, get Quicksilver. Quicksilver's up for a heist. Boom! I know a guy with speed. Done. Just like, there's one thing I loved about Days of Future Past, it was that heist element from the Pentagon.
Getting Magneto
Do that with Gambit, but have that be the whole movie. You know what I mean? That would be a fantastic movie.
What time period would that be set in?
I'd do it current day.
Okay.
I'd actually.
So how old would Quicksilver be?
Quicksilver would be like, well, according to X-Men, probably like his 40s.
Okay.
Or maybe 50s. I don't know. But
so he could kind of look the same because he's already got white hair.
Yeah, kind of. You could like fudge it out like that, or you just don't explain it and maybe do this Legion time travel thing. I don't know, but like that's what I would do in the dream world. But you know what I mean? It's sci-fi. Who cares? Obviously, some fans would be like, "Oh, but he was," but you know, just it doesn't have to be Quicksilver. I just threw it out. I just threw it in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd have it in the now though, because that. You know, that would make sense with the current X-Men, and then you could link Gambit with Rogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then have the second movie be a darker heist movie, and have how he gets hired by Sinister to kill the Morlocks with the big massacre that leads him to join the X-Men, and you know, have him have that dark secret that he was responsible for that massacre, and because. You know, if you read the comics at the time in the 90s, like no one knew who's behind that, and it was Gambit the whole time. It was revealed that it was Gambit the whole time. You know, but
so he was like a double cross, a secret agent sort of.
Well, with Sinister, yeah. But the thing was, yeah, he liked being an X-Man. You know what I mean? And they just left him out in the Arctic to freeze once that shit came out, and Rogue was like, "We're done." And Wolverine was like, yeah, fuck you. Punched him. Left. Gone. So, I don't know, man. That's his whole story arc with the X-Men at that point. He's probably done loads of stuff now because I haven't read comic books in ages. But I remember that specifically. But, you know, you do like a series of film, maybe even a trilogy of Gambit movies. One, you just show blah 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 that relationship with Sinister. Second one, the evil deed he does with Sinister, and then the third one, just have him do one more job for someone else and stuff, and have him leave in Sinister's clutches and shit. Have Sinister be like fucking Bruce Willis in The Expendables, that dude that just comes in and gives him an assignment. You know what I mean? It's like, what's your name? Church. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know what I mean? Just like that kind of thing. He gets hired. He does the job. Etc. He does put him in situations where he doesn't want to do the job. You know what I mean? Especially in the later ones. Have the first one be like, well, this is my thing, share. I'd like to rob people. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well,
I don't know. That's what I'd do with Gambit. I don't know. Maybe it's a shit idea. I don't know. You guys can sound off and tell me, don't make that movie, Sacha. What do I know?
Okay, so from Gambit onto Battle Angel, or Alita Battle Angel. And so it looks like Christoph Waltz is going to be a character, or one of the characters from the manga by the looks of it. And yeah, so this is being filmed by Robert Rodriguez. It's still co-produced by James Cameron, but James Cameron can't do it because he's in Avatar World at the moment. So yeah, Christoph Waltz, I can't even think of what character he'll be. I hope he's not the Arnold Schwarzenegger character that was supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger in James Cameron's adaptation, because if you watch the anime, his character, I can see why he wanted him as that character. And Christoph Waltz, maybe, I don't know, he might be I don't know, but either way, he's adding talent to the role, and so to the film, and so as John Campea says, it's always good to add talent to your film roles, and or your film scripts, or production, and Robert Rodriguez needs a hit. He doesn't, but he does.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't already made this film since the time we've been talking, then yeah, he's probably hopefully he's onto a hit. But what concerns me is that I'm not sure if the tone is right for, maybe it is, I don't know, but I don't, because this anime is not very well known to a mainstream audience as well. That's going to be interesting sell as well. I mean, if people liked Deadpool, not saying that this is anything like Deadpool, but in terms of the action that will happen in it will be very Deadpool-like. I think audience should resonate with that. Sach?
Yeah, what you said. I don't really know what to add to that than what you added already there, Joe. I mean, like, Christoph Waltz is a fine addition to any cast list. I like everything he's been in, almost everything he's been in. But, like, you know, he's never been the problem with these films that he's cast in. I'm a big Robert Rodriguez fan. Fair enough, like, his past 2 movies haven't really been stellar hits. I don't blame him for the failure of Sin City 2. I blame Frank Miller. Solely blame Frank Miller. Frank, you can't write anymore. Just give up. You know, they may as well have just adapted the other stories of Sin City. And a part of me hopes we get those stories, but another part of me is like, fuck you. We're never gonna get those stories. You know what I mean? Like. That movie was such a mishmash. You had the Game to Kill For storyline, which was perfect, and then you had like 2 shit made up stories about a gambler that had a point to prove, only to like not prove his point because it was I don't know, the story never went anywhere. And then you had that Jessica Alba one, which could have been special, but it wasn't. And it was just put there just to put Jessica Alba in the fucking movie and Bruce Willis in the fucking movie. When, to be quite honest, we didn't need them in the fucking movie. Just, yeah, whatever. So fuck you, Frank. Robert can do no wrong for me. Machete Kills was joke. It was what it was. No one saw it. Fair dues, dude. You tried. Just do a TV movie on the El Rey network. I'll be there. I'll watch it. But... you know what? You know, this is a different change in pace for Robert Rodriguez. He's doing a studio film. He's doing a film with James Cameron, which kind of makes me excited because this is going to be a different animal compared to any of his previous works. I still have faith. I'm looking forward to the movie, like that Christoph Waltz is in there. Again, I don't really know much about the IP, but just the fact that he's changing his directional style for this leads me to be excited. So, yeah. Okay,
well, yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be more news on Battle Angel, so stay tuned. Okay, so to the next story, Thor Ragnarok. And so, just this week gone, we've seen a lot of pictures of
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, but what's his name?
Loki.
We've had pictures of Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston walking around in New York in their regular clothes, well, in their Earth clothes, and which looks like it's going to be sort of a buddy film to a degree. Just from the look of it on Earth anyway.
No.
I don't know what they're doing on Earth, but he's in his human disguise clothes, I guess. I don't know what's going on in this, but
I'm sure S.H.I.E.L.D. are not onto him at all.
Well, no. Well, S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't really a thing at the moment.
Right. Okay.
If the timeline is with what the show is,
okay.
S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't really what S.H.I.E.L.D. used to be. It's more like what CTU was in the first season of 24. Right. It's just like a smaller government organization. But again, all these pictures they're online if you want to have a look at them. But they're really to me it suggests that they've had to team up for whatever reason and do something, even though they don't want to do it. And and there's a picture of Anthony Hopkins in
looking like hobo with the shotgun.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, let me just try and find the picture if I've got it. No, I don't have it. Do I? No, I don't. But anyway, so that intrigues me. Now we know that he's alive.
Yeah.
Because after Thor,
I wish I'd known watching the movie though.
Yeah, of course, but it clearly isn't a pivotal point, because if they've shown him in the
set pictures.
No. If they've shown him in the it's not even the marketing; it's just publicity of the filming. If they've shown him in that, then it's clearly not a big story point.
Yeah.
It's probably, this is something that's cleared up at the beginning of the film, and I don't know what's going to happen in this film. Because I thought it was going to go one way, but they're on Earth.
Well, I still think it's going intergalactic.
Yeah, I think so as well, but I didn't think they would touch Earth again.
Yeah.
And even
he's got to go bone Jane Foster somehow.
Well, Jane Foster's not even in this film.
Well, he just goes in, does his piece, come back. You don't have to see Natalie Portman.
But I don't think...
They probably have a JPEG off her for when she rings on the cell phone.
And the thing is, Jane Foster's in London as well, so it's...
Skype, innit?
Anyway, well, I don't know where this film's going, but
it's like how they did her in Avengers. Like, she rang on the phone and they cut her off, innit?
Oh, do they?
Yeah, her JPEG comes up on the phone.
Oh, right.
That was a little cameo, even though she weren't in the movie.
Okay. So I don't know where they're going with this, but I mean, the more that I hear about this, the more I've always been... I'm a Thor fan, so I've always been excited for Thor films, but I think this one feels very different in the sense that it's leading to something. It's almost like a nexus point for the other films.
Right.
And I'm intrigued by that, especially because the Hulk's in it as well. I'm not sure, and that could have like some
spoilers.
I don't think so. That the Hulk's in it?
Yeah.
How's that a spoiler?
That's a big spoiler.
In terms of what?
That's a spoiler.
How?
Hulk's in the Thor movie? That's a spoiler.
No, it's not.
I'm just saying it's a spoiler.
How is it a spoiler?
It's a spoiler.
No, you're telling me it's a spoiler, but you're not explaining.
Because some people might not know that the Hulk is in the Thor movie.
It's common domain. Everyone knows that. If you look at the cast listing, he's not going to play himself. So if he's either the Hulk or he's just on the cast listing for shits and giggles.
Oh no, I think it's a spoiler. But anyway, that's what I think. Comment on the comments below.
So that's all I've got to say about it, really.
Okay.
So on to the next film, Silence. Martin Scorsese's film, which this film was supposed to be released, I think, a year ago or a year before that, and
Andrew Garfield one, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
And apparently it's 3 hours long, or over 3 hours, and normally, I would say, if it was Michael Bay, then I'll probably have an issue with it. But because it's Martin Scorsese, I mean, how long was...
Well, most of his films are almost 3 hours long anyway. I mean, like, this is probably his longest film to date, but it doesn't really surprise me. I don't understand why this is even news across there. Oh my God, he's done his longest film to date. If it was 4 hours long, then, like, that would be news, I think. But this is like, how long is it? 3 hours and...
It didn't say, it just said it was over. That's what
over. Well, you know, if it said almost 4 hours, then that's news. It's over 3 hours. This isn't really news. This is just like, so we did like a really long film. Gangs of New York was almost that long.
Hamlet was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And so, well, I just intrigued what would make it that long. I don't know much about Silence, but I know that he wanted to make it.
Yeah, well, maybe there's a lot. Maybe there's a lot to tell about the characters. I mean, like the way he does his documentary film style of the world of which the characters live in. He, you know, this is to be said about just about every Scorsese film ever made. He always picks the main character and you're introduced to their world. You know what I mean? And there's probably a lot of ground to cover in this. to that character. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's probably like lots. This is why I didn't like. The way Michael Mann handled Ali, because there was just he had 3 hours, but it really.
Yeah, we didn't really cover much.
We didn't really cover much. We covered stuff, but it was like a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
But Scorsese knows how to hold it and make those small events seem more relevant.
Yeah.
And bigger to what the overall story's trying to tell. And that's probably just what he's doing, man. You know what I mean? What he normally does. He's just doing his thing.
What's your favourite Scorsese film?
That's hard, man. I'd have to say Goodfellas still.
Yep.
I'd have to say Goodfellas, because it's my favourite gangster movie. There's any point in that movie, you could just sit back and watch and relax. I prefer Goodfellas over The Godfather.
Yeah, I was going to say, some people would carve your eyes out for saying Goodfellas.
And those people need to shut up and listen. Okay, I'm not coating off The Godfather at all. What you got to understand is, The Godfather is a fantastic movie. But like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended cuts, or any motherfucking Lord of the Rings films, they're like a good meal. You have to sit down, enjoy, and watch it, and enjoy the masterpiece.
What you're saying?
Whereas Goodfellas,
it's accessible. Yes, it is. It's very accessible.
Let me finish my point. My point is, whereas Goodfellas, it's like a rock and roll tape. You know what I mean? It's like a rock and roll record. You can listen to this thing at any point. You can turn on the radio at any point to the song and sing along, right? With Goodfellas will come on TV at any point, you know what I mean, of the movie when you channel flick, and you were compelled to watch it the whole way through from that point. You know what I mean? Godfather, you have to watch it from the start. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't intervene at any point with Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Goodfellas, you don't really need to. And I guess that's where your point comes in, that is very accessible. You know what I mean? But that's what I find the key difference is between Godfather and Goodfellas. Goodfellas I can just watch regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like at any point. It'll be 5 minutes towards the end and I'll still watch it. You know what I mean?
What do you... Okay, so... 'cause I really like The Departed as well. And I think the main reason I like The Departed was because of...
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's... From that film onwards, I really liked Mark Wahlberg. Purely because of what he did with that character.
Yeah, because he was different.
It was ballsy in such a weird, different way.
Yeah.
And every time he came on screen, what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
What's going to happen now? And that's what tipped the scales with me for that film to push it. I think that's my second favourite film of his.
The Departed?
Yeah.
Mine would probably be Raging Bull.
Okay.
Or Taxi Driver.
I didn't enjoy Taxi Driver.
See, a lot of people... You're the only friend that's ever said that to me, but Taxi Driver is fucking fantastic, man. I like his older stuff rather than his newer stuff. I think of all his new stuff, I like Gangs of New York. Not Gangs of New York.
I forgot about Gangs of New York.
What's it? Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
That's up there with Goodfellas. That is almost like... That's fucking there. Departed's up there as well, but I mean, there's just something about Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. Raging Bull is such a good kind of character study, you know, and it's in a time where boxing film, you know, it wasn't boxing film of the week, you know what I mean? It's completely different tone of the Rocky films, you know what I mean? It's just such a good film, man. You know, his filmography is like really, really vast and long, man. You know what I mean? Mean Streets is one.
I've not seen Mean Streets.
You've not seen Mean Streets. Mean Streets is one. What else is there off the top of my head? Casino. But my problem with Casino, it just seems like a retread of Goodfellas. Like, it's a great movie. Don't get me wrong.
Also long.
Also long too, but it's a great movie. But it's not. You know what I mean? If you had to put them side by side, it's Goodfellas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is Goodfellas rather than Casino, man.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just me anyway. But.
Well, when Silence actually gets a release date, then the audience will be the first to know. We will let you know, or you can just look it up on the internet. Okay, so that's it for the topics, the story topics. On to the main story, and it's Disney live action films. Are they necessary? And it looks like Disney have completely changed it. Disney are just a driving force in the industry at the moment. They've just, even with the Marvel universe, they've just changed everything. Just the way how they're filmed and having a structure. So they've always got like a 10-15 year plan or something. To a degree. They've got contingencies for stuff that doesn't work.
Who's this? The Marvel movies.
I'm just talking about Disney in general.
Yeah, I guess so. The first good thing that ever happened at Disney in the 2000s was Eisner left. The minute they got that asshole out, I'll say that guy was You know what? He was good for the company at a certain time, and then he just kind of outstayed his welcome.
Yeah.
Bit like you, Ike. Get out of Marvel. I hate Ike Perlmutter. He needs to go back to selling toys and just stay out of Marvel comic books, not the movies, the comics, because he's got nothing to do with the movies. But
that's going to be your catchmutter, man.
Yeah.
Because
take a hike, Ike.
Because you say that on a nearly weekly basis.
I do. I don't like Ike Perlmutter. He's an idiot. He needs to just go back to Toy Biz and make toys. Go make toys, you toy maker. Just make your action figures, sell them, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, why give this guy a voice? Seriously, fuck.
Well,
but the point I'm trying to make is, you can't fault Eisner because he was good for the company throughout the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was the driving force behind The Lion King and, like, Aladdin and that. Just when it came to straight to DVD films, that was probably like not a good move, and closing down the 2D animation slate, that was probably a bad move. But under Bob Iger knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Bob Iger learned from the Fox studios. You know what I mean? Like, he used to work at Fox. He's one of the few people that believed in Star Wars when George Lucas was first making Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Funny that, because now who owns Star Wars? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who else is George Lucas going to give it? The one guy that gave him the shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like back in the day. So, it's funny how things come round. But Bob Iger, he's running Disney. He doesn't step on anybody's toes. He's like, Pixar, just go make me money. Just do what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just do what you do.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, don't fix it. And he doesn't do it. And in fact, all the behind-the-scenes stuff is Pixar fixing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, The Good Dinosaur wasn't that great. Pixar saw that and they sorted it out. They're like, just don't let Bob find out. You know what I mean? Mm. And they let it loose and it made money anyway because it's a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't a great Pixar movie, but, Bob doesn't care about that. He cares about money.
But that's the thing. When you put Pixar on... when you pitch Pixar against themselves, their not so good movie is a stellar movie to someone like
DreamWorks.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, I would say DreamWorks or even a freaking Fox Animation.
Yeah, Fox Animation Studio or Sony Animation Studios. So I mean, like you're right. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, like, he doesn't step in there. The only time he stepped in was like, guys, Avengers 2 didn't make as much money. What went wrong? And Kevin Feige was like, Ike! Listen, it's back to Ike. He was like, Ike needs to take a hike. And that's what happened. He goes, Ike, you need to take the hike from the movie division. We love what you do in the comic books and stuff. We still don't know what you do in the comic books, Ike, but keep doing it and we'll just leave the movies to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was the best thing he ever did. Otherwise, you know what? If Ike wasn't around, we probably would have had Spider-Man in Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Hell, we probably would have had Fantastic Four back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And X-Men back, but Ike's got some vendetta with Fox. That's why there's no... He has a vendetta against 20th Century Fox. That's I'll go into it in more detail one time. This is about Disney. But when it comes to Disney, I mean, like, they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They know what they're doing. They don't... Look look at the Muppets though. The Muppets something that they've had to come into because it made, you know, under the old regime, you know, it didn't, you know, it got to a point where it wasn't making money because they've owned that IP for quite a while.
But it's back at that point again.
Yeah. So they stopped making Disney stuff because they didn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? But they knew the old way wasn't working.
Yeah.
And then it took the guy from How I Met Your Mother. I've forgotten the name of the actor, but he's a director as well. And he's the tall guy, and he directed the Muppets, or he wrote the Muppets.
I know exactly.
You know who I'm on about. He was in Forgetting
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel had an original pitch for the Muppets, and that brief resurgence of the Muppets, that was a hit film.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was.
I think that was a hit film mainly because it'd been so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd been so long that we missed, like, those guys for so long. You know what I mean?
But good film's a good film.
Yeah,
but
and it was a good film. I never saw Muppets Most Wanted. It was the same director, but they lost the writer. You know what I mean? They lost the writer because he was so burnt out from doing that film.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, no, I'm not going to come back for the second one, but maybe the third one. But that movie bombed in retrospect. That Disney were like, maybe we've worn out our welcome. You know what I mean?
And then they tried the TV series.
And then they tried the TV series.
Which was different as well.
Yeah.
And I think what they should have done, kept it traditionally what it was, but when it came back the second time, they had like a lot of behind the studio scenes which were really funny, and I reckon they should have kept with that formula because it was funny.
Yeah.
And have the guest stars on like they did before, and just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
But just changed it up within the format.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, all the Muppets content that's come out, it still feels like the Muppets.
Yeah.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
And that's something Disney need to be applauded for. You know what I mean? About their consistencies with stuff. I mean, like, people were worried about Star Wars. They were, like, really worried about Star Wars, and they really shouldn't be at this moment.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You know my opinion on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some particular Star Wars fans were.
Oh yeah.
They treated George Lucas like
hell. They're just going to treat Disney like hell as well, even though they've got nothing to do with it so far. They're just like, here's some money, give us what we want. Star Wars is a political minefield between certain people, mainly Harrison Ford. You know, Harrison Ford was like, I want to do 3 movies. You know what I mean? I'm only going to do it if I'm in it for 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, literally, they had to renegotiate his contract because JJ wanted more Han Solo.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford badly wanted to die. That's not Disney's fault. That's Harrison Ford's fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I personally felt that scene worked for the characters.
Oh yeah,
it worked.
It worked because you spoilers, but you hate
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
You hate Kylo Ren because Han Solo's so beloved. And I think that's what's interesting about people that are enraged about Han Solo's death. Death is a part of life. And because that's happened to such a beloved character, if that happened to Finn, no one would give a fuck. You know what I mean? No one would care. I'd be like, oh, well, he was in it and he died. And that. Even when Qui-Gon Jinn died...
No, actually, there are people...
No, not to this extent, because...
No, not to this extent, but...
because Qui-Gon Jinn, he was a bad man character. He was a cool character. He was one of the highlights of Phantom Menace, yeah? But we didn't really get to know him.
Yeah.
We know Han Solo.
Yeah.
We know what makes Han Solo tick. So you kill off Han Solo, that's like killing off the Star Wars fans' beloved toy there. And they did it. And
quite literally, actually.
And you know what? I got to rate them for it to a degree because, you know, we hate Kylo Ren that much. You know what I mean? Because he killed Han Solo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We hate him that much. Don't you dare kill Luke Skywalker, though. That's all I'm saying. Like, look, before you do that ghost shit, yeah, make sure, like, Hamill's, like, in his 90s, where he's just going to look the same regardless of how old he gets. And then I'll be, okay, it's time to ghost him. Okay? But it's like, come on, man. Just keep Mark Hamill alive, man. I beg you. But no, yeah, Star Wars aside, Disney are franchising their own films now, their own IPs into live action. And I said it before, some have worked, some haven't, but it all depends on the creative teams that they bring on the projects. I mean, like, there's loads of IPs that they have. I'd like them to still do another Tron. You know what I mean? I love Tron Legacy.
We talked about that the other day. That might just happen. So
yeah, but again, financially, it all depends. They're in Star Wars land, and that's their thing right now. So
Yeah, but I mean, they're creating so much content. I mean, it's their own content as well. So they're self-generating content machine.
Yeah,
so
that's just it.
Yeah, wherever it goes for and I mean. They were talking about this on the Jedi Council thing, the thing that Collider Video does, and they were saying that should there be a natural stop after episode 9?
Yes.
And then wait a few years, because they said, look, when episode 7 came back, it was coming back after a big gap from episode 3, and because by that time the prequels were seen as the
garbage.
worst, the worst of the bunch. People were looking forward to this, and
I think the gap's necessary. I think it's very necessary. I think that's why we have these spin-off movies.
Mm-hmm.
The spin-off movies could be something to go to while there's a void.
Yeah.
And maybe not pimp them out every year. Maybe pimp them out every 2 years, so everyone's like...
So the spin-offs, I reckon you could get away with doing it every year.
Yeah.
But they need to start differentiating. I can't even say it now. Differentiating. The episodes and the spin-offs. Because the way George Lucas had it was perfect.
Yeah.
It had said Star Wars episode so-so.
Yeah.
Then you had the title.
Yeah.
And they should have kept it. I like the way JJ has what he's done with it, but he should have kept it as Star Wars episode 7.
Yeah.
Then the subtitle.
Yeah. What was I going to say? The thing is about that, a lot of people, The Force Awakens was their first Star Wars experience, so they were kind of going for that, and from that retrospect, it worked for that one film. For that one film.
And this is what I mean now. This Rogue One, I think this Rogue One is going to be an uphill battle with getting the main audience
to go, what is this?
Yeah, is this episode 8 or is this the continuation from that last one I watched last year?
Yeah.
Because having Rogue One there is fine, but
I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, like, back on,
and the Star Wars story is such a bad.
Back on track with Star Wars in general. The gap, I think, is necessary. After 9, I think a 10-year gap is just what it needs. There was a 10-year gap between the prequels, and the prequels still don't feel that far away. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's been 10 years. There was 10 years between Revenge of the Sith and The Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. And you could probably film another prequel film right now with those actors. You know what I mean? Like, quite easily. Those
sets still exist.
Yeah, exactly. They do. So they can recreate stuff. But I mean, like, 10 years is a healthy gap. Mm-hmm. And it would like regenerate interest in the next trilogy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Without people getting bored and there be a dip. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, look at Star Trek, like in the 80s and the 90s. Mm-hmm. They just kept churning them out. I think the other thing with Star Trek, no offense to the Trekkies, I think that the Star Trek movies just look like extended episodes rather than movies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because they were filmed on the cheap. They even reused the same effect shots, like Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's not dissing them. They worked for those films, but...
you mean the TV series?
Yeah, the films as well.
They didn't use it.
They did, because...
they didn't.
Yeah, they did, because Wrath of Khan, when they had the Klingon warboards at the start of the film, that's the same effect shot that they used in the motion picture. Exact same effect shot.
What shot?
Shot of the Klingon warbirds, they're coming in, they're on the computer monitor and stuff. Same shot used in the motion picture. Star Trek trivia, guys.
Were there Klingons in the first one?
Yeah.
I don't even remember the first one.
I don't remember. Look, I got this pointed out by a fellow Star Trek fan that was like, "Yeah, man, they reused effects even in the movies."
That's
like, what?
Because when you said that, I thought, what?
Yeah. They're not, Because I know Khan's like the main focus of that movie, but like, yeah. Now you're like, is he right? I could be wrong, but
no,
I'm just going by what someone
I just
else
can't
told
remember
me.
the first. Do you know when you? The only part I can remember of that first
Is that
film.
Enterprise?
Yeah.
Going on forever. Because I've not watched that the whole way through. They're looking for God, right?
No.
No?
No.
They're not looking for God in that movie.
They're looking for Voyager.
What?
Voyager.
Oh, okay. I can't remember.
That's the undiscovered country.
Where they're looking for God?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember. They're all the same to me.
They're really not, but fair
I don't
enough.
really watch the Star Trek films.
But that's the thing. There are some people that watch Star Wars saying they're all the same to me. There's some guys with lightsabers. And this is the thing with science fiction and sci-fi fantasy. It's J.R.R. Martin managed to turn that into something with Game of Thrones, with fantasy anyway.
Yeah.
And make it. Everyone watches Game of Thrones. And that's a unique thing to do when you get a mainstream audience to watch something like that. And with Star Wars, because it was the first pop cultural phenomenon, sci-fi fantasy of its time, it reinvigorated so many different genres that you saw on TV and all through the 80s and. I can't remember what point I was trying to make here, but yeah, you'll get some people that just don't understand anything of this, and these are people that just don't have an imagination. They can't stretch their imagination further than the fact that you're watching a medium where most of it is all make believe. They'll gladly watch something like EastEnders, but yeah.
I'll watch EastEnders.
Yeah, but it's make believe. That's my point.
Oh, okay.
It's not real. But
what?
But that's my point. People would rather watch something that this other thing that's not real. I will go and watch.
Yeah,
it's like I always make my comparison to watching wrestling and EastEnders the same. They're both the same.
Well, they're both soaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What one you have a continuous storyline.
Yeah.
But there's one that there's more pantomime involved.
What do you think about this The Rock Vin Diesel thing then?
I wish that happens. I hope that happens.
Because I think it is. I think that's going to be how they market Fast and Furious.
If he's at WrestleMania next year, I'll watch that.
What's that? The Rock versus Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
yeah, totally.
If they do the WrestleMania thing with that, I'll watch that because that's exactly the type of ridiculousness I want. And that's the thing, they'll make it into a big storyline, and that's what drama is. It's just these ridiculous things that turn into a storyline that you're engrossed with because you like the people. Yeah. And it's... we've gone so far off.
Yeah, off topic. What were we talking about again?
Disney.
We were talking about Disney, we got to WWE, The Rock versus Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, no, on that point...
Disney, you
need
to step in on The Rock versus Vin Diesel and make that into a franchise.
Whatever's happening with the Disney franchises, they're doing well with it, and so therefore I'm going to end this segment. Okay, so on to films opening this week, and so first film, I'm going to list down all the films that are coming out. So we've got, these aren't all the films, but these are the films that I've highlighted. So we've got Brotherhood, we've got Morgan, Sausage Party, and Things to Come. And Brotherhood, okay, so Brotherhood is Noel Clarke's, he's
concluding chapter to the trilogy.
Yeah, he made a. If you're not familiar with the Hood series, you've got a film called Kidulthood, Adulthood, and now Brotherhood, which ends the trilogy. And
Another Hood has nothing to do with them, but just letting you guys know.
Huh?
Another Hood.
Oh, Another Hood.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with these films, but
okay.
Just so that people know.
Sure. And so Yeah, so this is his end to it. I've only seen the trailer to it. I'm not sure if I'm particularly going to watch it, but I saw the last two, and it's what you would expect from a UK gangster film. Or it is what it is. I really don't know how to describe this, but yeah, it's
a good insight into urban culture. I really like them. I'm not going to lie. Look, there's a lot of these kind of films out there, but this is the one that put that genre on the map.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. I don't know how to differ. I don't know how to. I can't explain what's different from this film to any of the others that I've seen that are like this.
Oh, that are like this?
Yeah.
Well, the difference is with Noel Clarke's films is that Noel Clarke writes them good.
Mm-hmm.
All right? His storytelling, his writing is on point. Okay? I love his vision for... Well, he did another film called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or 4, 3, 2, 1 or whatever the hell it was called. And that was basically his version of Pulp Fiction, just set in London and New York. And it's got Kevin Smith in there as well as like his usual like cast and crew that work on these things. And it's a really, really good film. It's a really good heist movie. And this one, what's it? What I find about Another Hood and Kid Out Hood is that they have very strong characters. I mean, the first one, is kind of like a love story in a sense. The second one is a redemption story because it's about a guy that's just on time who was also in the first film because it's his story. You know what I mean? Noel Clarke's story about how, the first one's literally how, because he's the antagonist in the first one, and it's about how he gets sent down. Whereas the second one, he's now the lead, and it's about him trying to redeem himself and stopping his brother from entering this life of, gang culture and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's a very, you know what I mean? And that's what differentiates this series to the other ones that are out there, because the other ones out there are all the copycats trying to glamorize the gang culture, whereas this isn't. This is showing you what it is, what these characters are, how it is with these people, how they grow up in these environments, how, etc. It's not sugarcoating stuff. It never did, whereas the other stuff glamorizes the stuff and, is the stereotypical view of what everyone thinks those movies are. But Noel Clarke is a decent filmmaker, and that's the difference. Like, I watched Another Hood.
Okay, I don't want to go too far with this because it's
yeah, sure. But that's why I'm watching Brotherhood, because I think they're decent films.
Sure. Okay.
And that's the difference between when he does it and when someone else does it.
Cool. All right. Okay, well, Brothers are 15 and is out on September 2nd. And we've got Morgan, which is, I'd like to say a horror, thriller,
sci-fi.
Yeah, horror thriller sci-fi by Ridley Scott's son, Luke Scott. And this is his first film, and so this is going to be... this might be the hallmarks of him taking over the Alien franchise. Who knows?
Or at least the Hovis bread commercials.
Fair enough. But yeah, either way, this is going to put him. This is either going to put him on the map or will be a bump in the road, so to speak. But I mean, he's coming from talent, so I can't see anything else but being. It's either good. I'm looking forward to it. The trailer intrigues me. So. And I still believe that the Alien Covenant trailer will be in front of this. But the more days that go by, the more I think I'm wrong. But because they would have done what they did the last time. They would have had 3 days to the trailer or 2 days to the trailer, 1 day to the trailer. But yeah, who knows? Or maybe they've gone out for a whole out-and-out surprise this time. With just giving us a teaser trailer on something without telling us that it's going to be a teaser trailer. Yeah. But yeah. I'm looking forward to this. I like the theme of it. It seems very very much like Spliced, if you've ever seen Spliced, but or Splice even. But yeah, it's got would you say that this whole film is set in one environment? Because it suggests
it does.
Yeah, it suggests that. And so those films can be really good sometimes, or can be really boring. But from the looks of it, it looks great to me. I'm not sure, Sach. I mean, is this too close to horror for you, or?
No, it looks like a good thriller, like a good science fiction thriller. Yeah, it looks interesting to see how they do it. I thought this was the X-Men Legion film.
Oh wait,
because this is what I'd expect from Legion.
Well, this is Morgan.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking.
Okay.
I'm just joking around, man.
Okay.
But no, Morgan looks interesting. Hopefully, it'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, again, that comes out on the 2nd of September as well, and high hopes for that, and I really do hope the Alien Covenant trailer's in front of it. Okay, on to the next one, Sausage Party, and I'm going to let you sound off on this one.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, Sausage Party. There's sausages, there are buns, there's carrots. They go to a party in someone's mouth, and
that's not what happens.
People die.
That's not what happens.
Carrots die. Baby carrots die.
Yes, that happens.
The bread and the buns and the rest of the food, they're like, fuck, we thought that was the promised land. You mean they kill us? And then it's an R-rated comedy by Seth Rogen. It looks freaking ridiculously awesome. If you like South Park or like Seth Rogen humor in animated form, this is the one. Don't take your kids.
Oh, this is the end.
Or this is the end.
That film was awesome.
Yeah,
I love that film.
This film looks fantastic.
I can't wait to see this.
I can't wait to see this. That's it.
Sam Hayek's in this as well, isn't she? Even though there's no... But yeah, that's Sausage Party again. That's the 2nd of September. And that is a 15. That is a 15 over here. Okay, on to the last film. That is Things to Come. And this is a French film. And it's about a woman that a 50-year-old woman or 57-year-old woman that has she's having a hard time. She's at a point of her life where she wants to change things, make it more exciting. I'll put the trailer in the description. But it's one of those French films that highlight the problems that you encounter when you reach that part of your age where you think, okay, this is over for me, but I still want to do all of these things. And again, in the trailer, it suggests as much, and it doesn't help that our families they're all completely insane, and so maybe I've explained that really badly, but it's a Kurtzman film, so it's gonna have a limited release. But if there's something that a heartwarming film that you want to go and watch, foreign film that you would like to go into, that is kind of funny, kind of heartwarming, kind of it touches all the right emotions. This is the one to go to, Things to Come, and that's a 12A, and it opens on the 2nd of September. Again, because of my great explanation, I'll put the trailer in the description, and you can have your own look at the trailer and make your own decision on that. Film 20 questions and such. You are doing the duties today.
No problem.
And if you don't know what this game is, and this is a game where me or Sach will have a film written down, and I will have 20 questions to guess what this film is. Sach can only say yes or no to the questions I ask him, and it's one of those games that kind of make you really want to kill yourself if you kind of know what the film is but can't say what it is, or can't get to the point of what it is. And here we go.
Yep, let's do this.
Okay. Is this film set in the 1980s?
No.
1990s?
No.
2000s?
No.
50s?
No.
60s?
No. Wait a minute. How many questions was that?
That was 6.
That was 6, yeah?
So it's not set. It's
1,
not
2,
set in my
3, 4,
timeline.
5, 6. No.
I've just mentioned like
No.
5 decades worth of film.
Yeah, and you got none of them.
I'm
Film's been around for 100 years, remember that. This is an oldie.
I'm never going to get this. If I'm not going to get this, I can ask anything I want. King Kong.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
King Kong.
No, it's not King Kong, but don't do that. You may just get it. Just ask the right questions.
This thing, I don't know anything. The only thing I know about the films from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s are the actors. I couldn't tell you any directors. Is this film black and white?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That doesn't suggest anything because there's a whole like.
Okay, you still got 11 questions, so you could still get it. Shall we start again?
No.
Okay.
I really don't know what to ask. Is this film by Paramount?
No.
Is this a British film?
No.
Is
Do you want a hint? It's one of the. It's probably like one of the most talked about old movies of its time.
Is it sci-fi?
No.
How many questions is that?
You got 9 now.
Okay.
Do you want another hint?
No.
Okay.
Does it have... I'm guessing it's a male lead.
Yes.
Is Charlton Heston in this film?
No. I'll give you another clue. This male lead was... Put it this way, if Harrison Ford was not Indiana Jones or Han Solo, and if he was still alive, he would have been.
Okay.
Because he was basically... Like, this actor was like the inspiration for that character.
Oh, right. Is this film set in the timeline of the period of the day? So is it a period film?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, you mean as in modern day for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is modern day for them. So
okay, so it's set in the day. Okay. Okay, so so I'm guessing there's a lot of travel in this film.
No.
Okay. Is it? Clark Gable is not in this film.
No.
Okay. I'm starting to.
I'm going to give you an extra 5 questions.
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't. I'm starting to figure this out now. How many questions do I have?
You have 3 more questions.
Did this have the line "Play it again, Sam" in it?
Yes, it did.
Casablanca.
There we go.
Fantastic.
What made you get there?
Well, partially the Harrison Ford thing, and then I thought, okay, let's be careful with this because that could be a trick question.
Yeah.
That could be a trick. So I thought, okay, let's eliminate Clark Gable.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when I knew, because I know he's done kind of an adventurous type film in his day.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I don't know too many Clark Gable films, so I was thinking, let me just eliminate him first. Okay, so if it's not him, it's got to.
It has to be Humphrey Bogart. Yeah.
And so, instead of eliminating him, I said it doesn't have a particular line, and that's a famous line. So, So yeah, that's how I got to it, and yeah, boom. But yeah, that could have been potentially really, really hard if you didn't give me specific clues.
Yeah, I thought I'd be easy on you, kind of thing there. But,
yeah, because when it comes to the films from the 20s, 30s, and 40s, I'm sketchy at best because there's still films now that I say, oh wow, I didn't know this so and so was in this, and it's not because of my ignorance of the decade. It's just that there was so much content produced in that era. You only watch the ones that you know about.
Yeah,
and it's up to you to explore between that. And so that was a good one, man. Thank you for that. So yeah, well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, audience, for listening. And if you want to write into the Zedos Gang podcast with anything, even the name of the film for us to guess, just write into podcast at zedosgang.co.uk, and you can say anything you wish. And Sach, where are you on the webs?
You can find me. You can follow me at Sashman3 or Twitter, and just follow us on Zedos Gang, I guess. That's another thing. This podcast is also on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So whatever way you want to watch it, you can watch it. Listen to it any way you want. So do it. Okay, so yeah. Thanks for listening, folks. Once again, thank you, Sach. And this has been the Zedos Gang podcast, and we're out.